I made a film a number of years ago with the National Film Board of Canada called Speak It, From the Heart of Black Nova Scotia. And it's about Black youth, identity, empowerment, and Black youth being in an all-white high school environment. And in dramatic storytelling, and I talk about this a bit, there's always this notion of how do you develop a character, what's that character's backstory, what's their context, what's their world, how are they motivated, why do they do what they do. So there's a backstory to this film, and that is in 1990 or so, a group of teachers, including my late mother, organized something called the Retired Teachers of Segregated Schools of Nova Scotia. They decided they wanted to have a reunion, get together, share their friendships, think about what they had done, because no one had really recognized the kind of work that these teachers had done, so they thought that they should do it themselves. And they had this weekend that they called the Historical Reflection Weekend. So she got this bus and toured them all around the metro area where the sites of the original schools were. I filmed that weekend, and then I also filmed this Peace and Justice March that Black youth had organized because of some very violent racist issues that had been happening in Halifax, where young people were being thrown out of bars. So the youth in the community had organized this march, and I had filmed that. Then the National Film Board burned to the ground. And so all of the footage from the Historical Reflection Weekend and all the research and all of the things that I had shot, which was for this kind of two-part film, was lost. But there was a small bit of footage that did happen to make its way to Montreal, and that was the March of the Young People. So I then decided I could start the film about young people, where they were in the system. This was in the early 90s. What was life like for them going to school? How did it compare to my experience? So that half-hour film, I call it the Phoenix film, because it literally rose out of the ashes. And in that film, the young man who's one of the main characters, Shingai, he has to give a speech in his class, and he talks about the fact that there was segregation in education and that we can't forget that, and we can't forget that there was slavery in Nova Scotia. So in many ways, his referencing that in the film was a way to remind me that I wanted to do this film. And had I made the film at the time, segregation in education would have been a part of a larger film. So the two pieces, the two films, Speak It and then Little Black Schoolhouse, I call them siblings, right? They're like siblings, and they kind of talk back to each other in many ways. There's some footage that is shared amongst the two films, and in both films there's footage of the Beachville School, which I went to. So I kind of embed in my work things that I know about and maybe others don't, but they're important reminders in terms of that experience.